Joining us now, Democratic Congressman from Florida, Jared Moskowitz, former director of Florida's Division of Emergency Management. It's good to see you. Sorry it is under these circumstances, Congressman, and I know you just filed legislation to help fund the SBA for hurricane relief efforts. What do you expect that the need will be, and are you confident that it will be met?
Well, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. Well, we got to go backwards to get a little history here. Before Congress left a couple of weeks ago, right, there was a CR that was put on the floor, continuing resolution to keep the government open, that had the $10 billion in it for FEMA. That CR failed. And then the speaker brought back a second CR, but he stripped that money out. What he did instead is he allowed FEMA to draw down their 2025 budget money early. It's just a appropriation tactic. So that gave FEMA $20 billion. But out of that $20 billion, $8 billion was for previous disasters that needed to be reimbursed because FEMA had stopped doing that because they ran out of money. So you have $12 billion that FEMA has to play with. But a lot of that now is getting sucked up by Hurricane Helene. And obviously, we have a Category 4 storm in Milton that is about to hit. And so obviously, that's why I'm deeply concerned about FEMA resources. The SBA doesn't have the money that's going to be needed to get our businesses, our small businesses, our families through the disaster of Helene and Milton. They give out community disaster loans that keep those businesses afloat while the community is obviously recovering and rebuilding. And so it is a major problem. And Congress knew both of these things before they left in the middle of hurricane season, which was predicted to be one of the worst hurricane seasons on record.
So that is the Washington political part of this. Let me ask you about what's happening on the ground right now, Congressman. You've warned if a Category 5 storm comes into Tampa, there are going to be resource challenges that have probably not been experienced before. And we just heard in the federal briefing, it isn't necessarily about the category of the storm. As you well know now, what they're worried about is the combination of factors that will lead to this tremendous storm surge. From your perspective and your experience in emergency management, what are the specific resources you believe are most at risk? What do you think the biggest challenges are going to be here?
Well, obviously, the biggest challenge is always whether or not people heeded the evacuation warnings and left. And so, this storm Milton's doing something similar that Ian did. Everyone thought that Tampa was going to take a direct impact from Ian, and then it ticked south a little bit. This storm is doing the same. It's still not clear. And that's why everyone needs to watch and pay attention from, Tampa Bay all the way down to, to Charlotte County. Everyone needs to pay attention because little wiggles and wobbles here, 60 miles will make a huge difference. And so if a lot of people stayed, then there's going to be a lot of swift water rescues that are going to go on. And, those assets, a lot of them were in North Carolina. A lot of them will have to shift back down here. There'll also be all sorts of resources. Generators, will be a problem. Oxygen could be a problem. Fuel could be a problem. The Division of Emergency Management exercised this. So the good news is they know what the resource problems are going to be and are probably in the process of moving those from the west coast of the United States days away because the East Coast resources have dried up because of Hurricane Helene and now obviously Milton.
Florida Congressman Jared Moskowitz, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Thank you.